I never thought my relationship would end like this. But here's my story. I've been dating Jake for about a year. He was charming, attentive, and always seemed to have everything together. I fell for him hard, but there were little things that occasionally made me uneasy. For example, he often had work meetings that would last late into the night. He was vague about his job, claiming he worked in marketing. One night, I got a text from a mutual friend, Sarah, asking if I was free for coffee. We hadn't hung out in a while, so I happily agreed. While we were chatting, she casually mentioned seeing Jake out at a bar with another woman a few weeks ago. My heart dropped. I brushed it off, convincing myself it was a misunderstanding. That night, I decided to confront him. When I asked about it, he laughed it off, claiming he was just out with coworkers. I wanted to believe him, but the seed of doubt was planted. A few weeks later, I decided to surprise Jake at his apartment. I knocked on the door, but no one answered. I noticed his car was in the lot, so I waited. After about 20 minutes, I heard laughter coming from inside. My heart sank again. I knocked again, more urgently, but still nothing. Curiosity got the better of me, and I peeked through the window. What I saw made my stomach drop. Jake was sitting on the couch with a woman I had never seen before. They looked cozy, sharing drinks and laughing. I felt a mix of rage and heartbreak. Instead of confronting them then, I decided to leave and gather my thoughts. I needed proof. The next day, I did some digging and discovered his social media accounts. To my shock, I found pictures of him with this woman, tagged in posts dating back several months. It turned out they had been together longer than I'd known him. I confronted Jake that evening. I asked him about the woman and his other life. His face went pale, and he tried to deny it, but the evidence was overwhelming. He eventually admitted that he had been dating both of us at the same time. I was devastated, but part of me felt relief for finally knowing the truth. I ended things right then and there, and I walked out, leaving him speechless. Since then, I've been focusing on myself and rebuilding my life. I've learned to trust my instincts more and to never ignore the red flags. It's been a tough lesson, but I'm determined to move on and find someone who truly values me.
I am getting a gastric bypass in 2 weeks. I have had this planned for over a year when I got my insurance. It was a snap decision, but my weight has been an issue my whole life, and my GP has been pushing me to get the surgery after multiple failed attempts at trying to lose it myself and multiple health issues being made worse by my weight. A year ago, I made the decision during my lunch break to get health insurance, and the fortnightly payments have pretty much kept me motivated in my journey to better myself because OMFG, ITS, so much money. My husband was so angry when I called and told him I signed up for the insurance. He told me it was a waste of my money and I didn't need to lose weight, but after a short argument, he didn't bring it up again. Months went by and I forgot about it because I had a whole year to wait before I could do anything, but I was taking steps to better myself in other areas. I started dressing nicer. I went into a clothes store for the first time in a decade and spent $1,000 on a new wardrobe. Which sounds like a lot, but I have hated myself for so long, I only wore t-shirts and joggers. I went to the hairdresser for the first time in 6 years. I went to the dentist. I am looking into maybe braces. I started my bachelor's of data science. Like when I say I have completely taken this as a chance to become a new person, I'm not joking. I want to come out of this being proud of who I am and not just the same me in a skinnier body. My husband is not supportive at all of any of this. Every step, he has just told me I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm spending too much money. The clothes I wear don't look good. I'm not smart enough to do data science. I just ignored it because I thought maybe if I improved myself it would motivate him to do the same. He doesn't even need to get a better job or anything like that, but maybe he could cook more or do stuff around the house or take care of things I can't because I'm so busy. But he won't. Like we are 25 and 26, we can do anything we want. Our life isn't over, yet we have only just started it. He doesn't have to spend the rest of his life doing nothing. The closer we got to my surgery date, the more he would send me videos of bariatric surgery patients telling their stories going wrong to scare me out of doing it. He would tell me statistics of me gaining weight back and that I'll probably still be fat, so there is no point. After about a week of this, I snapped and an argument ensued. I called him lazy and said that he's living off me money, so I don't know why he complains so much. And he told me he hopes I don't wake up from the surgery and walked out. He won't answer me calls now, and I think in 2 weeks I'm going to come out of surgery without a stomach or a husband. Update. So, today we finally had a talk. I know you were all hoping I would just ghost him or something, but I didn't really want to do that. We met for lunch, and he told me he had been at his parents' house cooling his head, and he was sorry he hadn't answered any of my calls or messages, but he had to sort his thoughts out. He told me that he felt really upset that I was making all these decisions without talking to him first, and that he also was scared that I could make such big decisions, especially ones like major surgery, without even consulting him. I thought about it and told him that I understood that he was feeling left behind and that I should have spoken to him more, but I also felt that because these decisions were about my body and my own growth, I guess I got carried away in the excitement. However, that was not an excuse at all for his comment, and I was really hurt by it. Him constantly trying to dissuade me from improving was disgusting and not on. He apologized and said he felt that I wasn't hearing him, and he felt this was the only way for him to get me to understand. Although this may not be the outcome you all want to hear, we are going to get couples therapy. I said for now I want to separate for 2 months while I recover from surgery, then we will start couples therapy together to see if we can heal. I think these 2 months are also to mull over my feelings a bit more too, and for him to also really think about how he wants to move forward. We will see.
I am 20, have been dating him for 7 months. Let's call him Devin. I took Devin with me to my family reunion this year. It was held at a group of cabins at a lake in northern Georgia. We have family spread out across the U.S., and every 2 years we pick a location and congregate for the weekend. I did not expect to walk in on this kind or congregation though. Devin had met my mother once before, at dinner, along with my brother and sister that are both a few years younger than me. Our parents divorced several years ago and my father is busy drinking himself dead with his new girlfriend, so he did not attend dinner or the reunion. I did not pick up on any weird vibes or stolen glances at dinner, and mother and I have some boundaries already about dating. She and I are only 27 years apart, both fit and attractive. I like guys older than me and she likes guys younger than her. Mother currently has a boyfriend, Frank, who is 41. They've been together for about 1.5 years. Frank did not attend the family reunion. So during the reunion, Devin has been distant from me. He found literally anything else to do than have a connection with me all weekend. Before the big meal on Saturday, he told me he didn't find me very attractive. He said I'm too tall, not fit enough, he doesn't like that I have a child, and I smoke too much weed. I know he's grasping at straws. I am a tall woman at 5 feet 11 inches. But I only weigh 150 pounds and I don't work out excessively, but I am strong. My son is really cool, and I have to baby daddy to have drama with. Devin should have said something about that a long time ago, right? And for the weed, I only smoke on special occasions. Anyway, we had a talk and it turned into an argument and Devin stormed out. We were staying in a room in one of the cabins. He stormed out and, apparently, into the RV where my mother was staying. I cried a lot and finally composed myself to go talk with my mom like girls do in a breakup, right? I opened the RV door and took one step up. I look to my left where I see them both sprawled out on the bed, breathing heavy and freshly orgasmed. They see me and do the, oh shit, jump and cover. I said nothing. Just walked over and slapped my mother across the face and walked back out. Walking back towards the cabin, I see cars arriving with more family members and food to prepare for the final family day feast. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do now. Do I tell my family? Do I tell her boyfriend? Do I act like nothing happened until after the party? How can I ever trust my mother again? How can I rebuild my self-esteem after a hit like that?
Anyway, yesterday my brother-in-law out of the blue asked my wife if she can meet him for lunch. There is something he needs to talk to her about. My wife tells me about it before accepting, and asks if it might have something to do with my sister. Maybe they are having problems, and he wants to discuss with another woman. I find it odd, but I tell her to go find out. So she accepts, and they meet for lunch at a place near her office the next day. That's where he tells her that he is in love with her. He lays it on thick, how beautiful she is, how she makes him feel, how he would treat her if she were his, how it was love at first sight, blah, blah, blah. Mind you, this man is married to my sister and has 2 kids. He and my wife had a friendly relationship. Our families see each other often as we are a close family. He does text her frequently, but there was nothing overly sexual. My brother-in-law texts and calls my mom too, so none of us thought anything of it. I want to stop a moment and emphasize that my wife isn't cheating on me with him. My wife and I share an iPad, and I see every one of her texts from there. We are also looking at each other's phones all the time, so none of that is going on. So she doesn't let him finish, walks out, and calls me immediately to tell me what happened. While she is on the phone with me, the texts from him start. He didn't mean it. He thinks it's only infatuation, blah, blah, blah. She leaves work early to come home to talk to me about this, and her phone is blowing up the entire time with calls and texts from him. I tell her to answer, and she put him on speaker so I can hear. He's crying, begging not to tell my sister. Apparently, when we were together this past weekend, he thought that she was flirting with him, and that he thought they had a moment when they were alone in our kitchen. Now, my wife is a major ball buster, and I suppose I can see how that can be taken as flirting. He asks if she told me, to which I answer yes, as I am on speaker. Then he starts begging me. This went on a while. My main question was whether he had cheated on my sister before. He said no, swore on his kids' lives. It's just my wife. He said I should understand. So I'm done listening at that point and told him I wasn't going to do anything tonight, and I would call him tomorrow. That's where we are right now, and I really don't know what to do. My wife says drive over there right now and tell my sister, but the idea of wrecking my sister's family is killing me. Thinking about what it will do to my nieces makes me want to vomit. I know the right thing to do is tell my sister, but I am also thinking about my wife as well. It's not her fault, but there is sure to be resentment toward her from my family. Even if my sister doesn't divorce him and they reconcile, I can't see how we are ever together again like we were before, if at all. This whole episode can tear my family apart. I don't give a shit about him. He tried to destroy my family, but I do care about everyone else.
Last week, while my wife, 49 female, was taking a shower, I saw a notification pop up on her phone and went to open it thinking it was one of our daughters. Maddie is 24 and Alice is 26, confirming what time their girls' dinner was. Instead, I saw an unsaved number saying, "I can't wait to see you," and then kissing emoji. I froze for a second. I clicked on the message and saw a short thread mostly confirming dinner plans for that evening and how they missed each other. And once a week just wasn't enough. I knew what I saw. 29 years of marriage down the drain. Hoping to catch her in a lie before she left the house, I texted both our daughters and asked them about girls' dinner. What happened next broke me to my core. Both girls confirmed the dinner and said they were excited. I couldn't believe it. Not proud of what came next. I turned her location sharing on with me in her phone and let her leave. I followed her to a restaurant and lo and behold, neither daughter was there, but instead a man I knew was her boss. I was so heartbroken. Part of me was hoping I was just a paranoid freak and my daughters would be there happy to see me. But no, just my cheating wife and her AP. I took pictures of the two of them holding hands and kissing. I know I should have waited, but I couldn't help myself. I was so angry. As soon as I got in my car, I opened the group chat we had as a family, sent them all the photos and said, "Glad you're enjoying girls' dinner together." I then turned my phone off and drove to my brother's house and asked to stay the night. I woke up the next morning to over 40 texts and 20 voicemails. My wife went through the cheater's playbook of excuses. I didn't even listen to her voicemails. I was about to respond with, "I will be getting a divorce. I recommend a lawyer." But my brother stopped me. He told me to meet with a bunch of lawyers first and make sure she couldn't use them. Instead, I just sent the group chat a simple message. "I am physically fine, but need time. I will come home when I'm ready." I then muted my phone. I called different lawyers that looked to be the best in town that morning for appointments. Met with all of them, and picked the one who looked ready to treat this as scorched earth as possible. Finally, after spending all day with lawyers, I looked through the messages and both my daughters were apologizing. My younger daughter, the daddy's girl of the two, was manic. She had texted me almost 50 times saying she never should have lied and hated it every time. Her boyfriend even reached out asking me to please reach out to her, that he didn't know what was going on, but that she was on the verge of a panic attack. Maddie, I love you, but please understand that what you've done has hurt me deeply. I need you to give me space. I sent it and within seconds got all okay. I'm so sorry. I never should have helped. I'll never forgive myself. I love you too. I didn't respond. Alice was different. We always had a good relationship, but she was a mama's girl through and through. She said she was sorry, but that I shouldn't throw away a good marriage because of one mistake. This made me furious. Alice, this isn't a mistake. This is a betrayal. For my whole family. Please don't reach out again until I make first contact. She never responded, but I know she showed it to me STBX because she started saying that I shouldn't take this out on Alice. I never responded. I'll never talk to her again, except through lawyers. This all happened 5 days ago. I'm still at my brother's and can't contain my feelings. I cry every morning and most of the day. I oscillate between complete, debilitating sadness and all-consuming anger. Losing my wife will be hard enough, but how do I ever look at my children again? How do I even begin to forgive them? Alice is supposed to get married in the fall. I've been paying for almost everything. Now I'm probably not going to go. I don't even know how to move forward. I am completely destroyed.
I was with my ex-wife Linda for 10 years. I found out in January this year she was cheating on me. I moved back to my parents' house and initiated a divorce. She informed me in March that she was pregnant. I told her hooray and hung up. That was our only contact on it. I have blocked her in every way and only communicate through my lawyer. My family all want me to forgive her. Not to be with her, just to forgive her so the kid can be out of their lives. I said their relationship with her had fuck all to do with me, and that if they kept bringing her up, I would leave. They kept bringing her up, so I moved to Oregon. My family and my ex all live in Raleigh. The guy she was sleeping with is not interested in being a father, so he bailed. There was a paternity test, and yay me, I'm the sperm donor. After the kid was born, I told my lawyer to get me the minimum child support and to cut my parental rights. My ex is upset about that. She managed to get in contact and went off on me. She thinks I'm the asshole for abandoning a kid who is innocent and deserves a father. I think I would not be a good person to have around that kid. I told her to take the child support and fuck off.
My wife had plastic surgery recently. We had discussed it, and I was against it. It was not my decision, and ultimately I had no say. She looks weird now. She had the fat sucked out of her face, lip fillers, a neck lift, other stuff I don't really get. She gives me uncanny valley vibes now. It freaks me out. She is fully healed now, and she wants us to go back to normal, like me initiating sex. I have done so, but not as much as I used to, and when I do, I try and make sure there is very little light. It's been a few months, and I kind of dread having to look at her. Obviously, she has noticed. She has been bugging me to tell her what's up. I've tried telling her I'm just tired from work, or that I'm run down. Really anything except for the truth. She broke down and asked me if I was having an affair. I said that I wasn't. She asked to look at my phone. I unlocked it for her and handed it over. I wasn't worried about her finding anything, because there is nothing to find. She spent an hour looking through it and found nothing. She asked me to explain why I changed. I tried explaining that I just wasn't that interested right now. Nothing I said was good enough for her. She kept digging. I finally told the truth. I wasn't harsh or brutally honest. I just told her that her new face wasn't something I found attractive and that I was turned off. She asked if that's why I turn off all the lights now. I said yes. She started crying and said that she needed time alone. She went to stay with her sister. I've been called every name in the book since this happened. Her sister said I'm a piece of shit for insulting my wife's looks. Her friends all think I'm the asshole. I tried not to say anything. I can't force myself to find her attractive. I still love her, but her face is just weird now. She looks like the blue alien from The Fifth Element. I don't know what to do.
I 26 female was proposed to by my fiancé 27 male 2 months ago, and I was overjoyed. I OFC said yes, and then we were engaged. Well, we recently started planning the wedding, and we've run into a situation. I'm Danish, and my dream wedding is perfect white classy wedding. From roses to cathedrals to big poofy white gown. I want everything that's that perfect traditional wedding aesthetic. My fiancé, who is Indian, wants to make the wedding be a little more Indian too. And from everything I've seen, it is the complete opposite of what I want. Bright colors, loud music, and everything colorful. Don't get me wrong, I love Indian weddings, and have been to some as well due to my fiancé's family, but it is simply not what I want for myself. Well, we got in touch with a wedding planner who suggested that we could do some Indian events and some of the more traditional events as well. And I don't want that. I feel like my wedding is the one situation in my life where I don't have to compromise. So my fiancé said okay to my idea and agreed to have the wedding I wanted. Well, over Christmas, my family invited my fiancé's family over since Christmas isn't big in their culture, and the topic of our wedding came up. My fiancé told everyone that we were having a traditional wedding and that the wedding was according to my needs and that he didn't have any say in it. His parents blew up saying that if that was truly the case, none of their family would show up and that having a white wedding is pointless if you're marrying a brown man. My parents tried to calm everyone down, but his parents just kept on arguing and eventually left. We left soon after, and me and my fiancé had a big fight in the car, and I accused him of fueling the fire against me. He said that it was the truth, and that it was his wedding too. 2 days later, I tried to call my wedding planner, but she told me that my fiancé called her and told her that the wedding was canceled. I was livid, and when I confronted my fiancé, he said that maybe I needed more time to rethink the whole marriage thing. My friends are calling me the and that I'm being racist. I don't think so that not wanting a loud wedding is racist. So am I the a-hole?
I am 28. Have been with my GFF 27 for 7 months now and went full exclusive 3 months ago. She's everything smart, kind, caring, and drop-dead gorgeous to me. However, she has worse hygiene than a Neanderthal. She lives a studio APTs, so it's small. Since started dating her, I've avoided spend time there because it's always dirty. But I never said anything because it's her place. She does not shower often and has strong BO. Like bad enough that I won't have sex with her unless she's recently showered. Here's where it gets bad. She's on her period, and 3 days ago she was having a really rough day. So called her and asked her to come stay at my place until she feels better, that I can't cook and take care of her and allow her to rest. She was take the week off from work because this was so bad. She came to my place and didn't bring any feminine hygiene products. I have to run to the store at 3 a.m. to get her stuff because she'd been wearing the same pad for so long that it leaked on my bed. I didn't say anything as she stressed. The next day I came home from work, and she'd a pad from the previous night on the bathroom floor, without even wrapped it. I was pissed and called her out and said, "Hey, that's gross. I don't want to look at that while I go use the bathroom." She got really mad and said I called her gross. I clarified that having a period is not gross and is a natural thing, but leaving a bloody pad on the floor of someone's home is nasty. She lost it and said made her feel gross and bad. Was I an asshole here for calling her out? Update almost a month later. As many of you had pointed out, there was a lot more to the issue than simply her being a slob. She is now getting professional help for her mental health issues and trauma from early childhood. She's been through enough to break any person. I'm grateful for those who suggest that her mental health be checked, and also grateful I didn't run from her like many were suggesting. A lot has improved. Hygiene-wise, she's doing amazing. She, of course, needs some reminder and encouragement, but she gets things done. And relationship-wise, we're both happier. New update, asterisk. We broke up. It's over. She had a major meltdown a day ago and accused me of forcing her to get help for things that she doesn't want help for, and accused me of controlling her. She gave me an ultimatum, and I don't do ultimatums instead of calmly explaining her point. So I told her goodbye and good luck, and she left and told me to go F myself.
My husband, 29M, and I, 24F, have been married now for 4 years. I was 19 when we got married and my husband was 25. We got married after a few months of knowing each other, which is not the issue of our relationship. Our first 2 years of marriage were great. We were both extremely happy and genuinely in love. Things started going downhill after I had our daughter. I had bad postpartum depression and was pretty much mentally checked out or drained. During this time, I stopped wanting to have sex with my husband. Fast forward almost 3 years later, current time. My husband just got back from deployment. Before he left for his 9-month deployment, he was gone 2 times, one for a month and the other for 2 months. So essentially, he has been gone for a year. Before he left, he seemed checked out. He would stay late at work, and when he was home would constantly be on the phone with his work buddies or playing video games. During this time, we really lost our connection. When he deployed, I finally started going out and making friends for the first time in my adult life. I started going to bars and getting drinks with friends on weekends. It's nice to feel like a normal 24 years old. Since my whole adult life, I have only ever felt like a wife/mom. From 19 to 22, I feel like I lost myself, and once he left, I finally had time to focus on me and figure out who I am. He came home about a month ago, and I have never been so unhappy in our marriage. The first night he was home, he suggested we go out with his friends to the bar. While we were out, he got upset with me because at one point I couldn't find him, so instead of searching high and low / standing alone, I decided to make friends with a few girls I had met in the bathroom earlier that night. When I finally found him, he wouldn't even look at me or acknowledge me. I got upset and walked outside because I wasn't trying to cry at a bar. He followed me outside and started saying, "I didn't know where you were. Seems like you didn't even care you couldn't find me. You are my responsibility, so I need to know where you are." I got triggered at his responsibility comment and told him that I'm not his fuck child, I'm his wife who is an adult and responsible for myself. The next few days after that, he would make passive-aggressive comments about how I'm not his responsibility. Now every time I want to go to the bathroom with friends, he starts acting like a wounded puppy. For example, this past Friday, one of my girlfriends invited me out for a girls' night. I double-checked with him to make sure that 1, he had nothing planned for us, and 2, he didn't care if I went. He said to go and have fun. Hours prior to my girls' night, he was acting passive-aggressive, asking me questions like, "Why do you even like the bar? The bar is for single people," or "If I can see your priorities are the bar and your friends," implying our family isn't a priority. 2 minutes after my friend picked me up, I get a call from him pissed he can't see my location. I turned it off the day before because I noticed during the week while I was at work he was constantly checking it, and when I would go to lunch he would call to see where I was / who I was with. I started to feel like he was testing me. I told him that I'm not his child and he shouldn't be monitoring my location, especially 2 minutes after I left the house. He claims he was checking for safety reasons. But really? I hadn't even made it out of our neighborhood. I feel like if I say I am going somewhere, he should trust my word and not have to ensure I am going pinpoint where I say I am going. I got home late, 3 a.m., because that's how late my friends aka my ride wanted to stay, and I was the last person she dropped off since I live the closest to her. When I got in bed, he was next to me, and when I woke up he was on the couch. And from the moment I woke up, I felt like I was being punished. He barely looked or talked to me. Then we went out to lunch, and he started to pick a fight about my priorities and how bars are single people activities, and was talking aggressively and raising his voice to the point I had to tell him he won't speak to me like that. During this argument, he brought up divorce multiple times. I told him no one is holding him hostage and he doesn't have to stay. He claimed he is not leaving his home, which is crazy because it should be our home. When we got home from lunch, he apologized, basically saying he loves me and wants to be with me for the rest of my life. He does this shit every time, especially when he feels like I am done with him. And now he's acting like nothing happened and everything is fine. He's acting like I'm being an asshole for not accepting his apology or going along with his everything's fine act. We have had a marriage counseling session scheduled for weeks now. I'm at the point I don't even want to go. He's going to make it seem like our marriage is failing because I'm a party girl who doesn't prioritize our family. I need opinions. Thanks for whoever read this whole shit show. Less than a month after this post, I left him. He became very manipulative, saying he was going to skull himself trying to get me to stay. Telling our child I don't want to be in this family. X was just to find out he cheated on me the whole deployment. Needless to say, I moved out a few months ago, and the divorce is almost finalized. Co-parenting has been going great, and I'm honestly in such a better place, *****.